like having to get lipo seems like an admission of the fact that I'm a fraud. I totally hear that. 100%. I just don't see why it's worth it to put your body through something like this in your 40s. Dude, respect. You're in your 40s. You're like a grown man. You've already made a bunch of money. You're famous already and all this other crap. You have a pretty cool physique. It's like, really, for 4 pounds of tissue? You went through like this 12-week psychotic recovery process with complications and risk of death? Like, and am I salty about this comment? Yes, God damn it, because I have feelings. Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for RP Strength, and I recently had cosmetic surgery to delete out extra skin and fat cells that had accumulated in my lower back and my love handles from me back in the day when I was younger, ballooning up to a drug-free 270 pounds with gigantic love handles. And got the surgery. I'm well into recovery. We're recording this video at now 5.5 weeks out from the surgery. Everything's going pretty well. It's a cool new look. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see it at some point soon. But I wanted to circle back and read some comments with you guys that I had on my Instagram post when I first talked about getting the surgery, because some of these comments are, kind of alluding to the fact that maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should not have had surgery. So I'm going to do 3 things for every single one of these comments that I'm going to read with you guys. One is I'm going to clap back with an attitude, all for the jokes. None of it is serious. I'm just riffing. I'm saying you come at me with the riffing, you're going to get it back, all love and respect. Then I'm going to steel man their position and try to see like, okay, they're actually making a pretty decent point here somewhere. We're going to try to get that out. And then I'm going to kind of give the real talk, what I actually think, calm, logical analysis, fusing in the steel manning and kind of maybe my retort to where I was coming from, to sort of maybe learn a little bit with you guys and at least get some lols. Scott, you ready?
I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Unleash the hate.
All right, here we go. So Clay_Gons said, good for you if it makes you feel better about yourself. No, Clay, it makes me feel better about other people. JK, let's continue reading the comment. But personally, I just don't see why it's worth it to put your body through something like this in your 40s when you're already done competing. You obviously have a great physique and immense success. Not sure why some loose skin was worth this much trouble. So let's riff first. This is actually a fairly polite comment, so I'm not going to go too hard in the paint. But let's see. In your 40s, I guess, Scott, there's a better time to get cosmetic surgery than your 40s? Is it supposed to be later or earlier?
I actually don't know. I could see it both ways.
Or neither.
Yeah.
In your 40s, you're healthy enough to recover well, but also old enough for it to be sensical to put the knife in your body, but whatever. Clay says, when you're already done competing, I'm not done competing. Pretty much every single video or comment I ever put out on that is I'm not competing for the current time. And pretty much every other time I said, like, I'm going to be back competing eventually, very likely. So I'm not done competing. That part's just like, I look at all love and respect, all jokes. People like absorb some sort of something from the ether, from like a reel they heard about me. And they're like, I know things about you. And like, yeah, you probably don't. You probably f***ed up and you're probably the kind of guy that comments about other people's shit. No offense, all love and respect, all jokes. Pretty salty here. This is me coping. Scott, isn't that what the internet says? Lots of copium today. And the very nice things, you obviously have a great physique and immense success. Thank you so much. Though I would say, like, why not have a better physique and more success through enhancement? And not sure why some loose skin was worth this much trouble. Like my razzing of this is like, okay, Clay, thank you for putting your confusion into a comment. Scott, can you imagine like going on to people's shit and actively being confused in the comments? Like, I'm confused. Like, okay, thank you for letting us know. There are no doubt very good reasons for this. I think, I'm not sure why someone was going to do this as a snarky way of saying, I disagree with you, which my snarky response back is, you know close to nothing about anything that I do in my life. So the audacity of you to think that you could just say shit like this is pretty impressive. Now, that was all just a riff, all for good time's sake. Let us steelman this young gentleman's position. Good for you if it makes you feel better about yourself. Fact. Like, that's probably what most cosmetic surgery, if not all of it, is for, is to make someone feel better about themselves. I just don't see why it's worth it to put your body through something like this in your 40s. Dude, respect. You're in your 40s. You look a grown man. You've already made a bunch of money. You're famous already and all this other crap. You have a pretty cool physique. Like, really, bro? Now you're getting under the knife? Like, what is the play here? I totally hear that 100%. And when you're already done competing, I guess you could have thought like I was done competing. It's totally reasonable to expect that because, at various points I, said I'm done / gonna, done for now, whatever. It's tough to parse those. I get it. No worries at all. And it's very nice to say I obviously have a great physique. I think that that's vibes and immense success. It is really strange. Like, surgery is like and risky for like life and limb. Like people die in surgery. And, for me to have like tons of YouTube success and have a bunch of money and apps and stuff and then be like, oh, I'm just going to take this massive risk. It's kind of like a giant why. Like risks make sense when you don't have a lot and you have a lot to gain, but a lot to lose. But when you have a lot of stuff and you've done really well, like, yeah, it's kind of weird to take a risk. So I totally hear that. And at the end, he says, not sure why some loose skin was worth this much trouble. Dude, facts. It's like they took out a total of like 4 pounds of tissue. It's like, really, for 4 pounds of tissue, you went through like this 12-week psychotic recovery process with complications and risk of death. Like, it is an odd flex, totally. And so that's the steel man. Now, to wrap it all up with logic and reason in my actual take, these are all good points. Some are really easy to riff on. Anytime you talk some, even well-intentioned smack in the comments, you don't be surprised if you get some back. All love and respect, all jokes. But it is definitely a trip to see someone make really seemingly odd choices from your perspective. But you got to remember that like people have different values. And for me, like my love handles, because of the excess skin that never goes away and the excess fat cells that never go away, like physiologically, they just don't. No amount of dieting, and I've been very lean before, can get that off. And so for me, I really value just having a body that I think is cool. And I think my body is not the greatest thing in the world, but I love how I look, except for my love handles. And when you are a professional in the space of helping people how to navigate their own physiques and you really care about bodies in general and aesthetics and your own body, it's kind of like, oh man, if I just got rid of my love handles, I would feel way better about my physique. And let me tell you guys, I still have a ton of inflammation. I still have a ton of swelling. I still have to wear a binder all the time. I'm recording this 5.5 weeks out. I don't even start training until like a week or two from now. I haven't trained in 5 weeks. But when I turn to the side and I see completely zero love handles and my waist is starting to cinch in like crazy, it is a transcendent moment every single time. And I only get to see myself in the mirror like twice a day when I readjust my binder or shower. And so it's like really, really wacky. Like I've had love handles my entire adult life. And to not have them anymore is like, it's worth everything. This whole thing was worth it, 1,000%. So I hear all the criticism, and it's all very, very well meant. But to me, it is marginally worth it. To me, does that mean it's worth it to you? Hell no, probably not. But that's something for you to decide. All right, Talalar Salon says, Dr. Mikey, Illy, and I wish you best of luck. What the Dr. Mike, Eiley and I wish you the best of luck with how you want to look, but saying it's way harder than dieting just sounds like a massive cope. I'll riff on this one. So let's see here. I said in this post, by the way, that I made originally that the surgery recovery was way harder than dieting. And I stay by that 100%. It's way, way worse than any diet I've ever done. It's way worse than any 5 diets I've ever done put together. So first of all, Talalar Salon. I don't know who Illy is. I don't know you in real life. You're treating me like a friend. We've never met. Saying it's way harder than dieting could absolutely be a cope, or hashtag cope is something faceless incels with no friends and no relevance say to people to try to make themselves sound better. Which one is it, my friend? So that's the riffing. Now to Steelman. Thank you for the wishing the best of luck. That is very kind. I still am uncertain who Illy is or who you are, but very nice of you. It's way harder than dieting absolutely sounds like the cope of a lifetime. Scott, doesn't it? Like, I did this thing because I'm too big of a pussy to diet, and now I'm saying it's harder than dieting so I can get my respect points back.
Yeah, and now you're just doubling down in this video. I get it.
100%. Yeah. This is like double cope. It's terrible. The thing is, so I hear that. That's the steel man. Now, the overall logic wrapper to all of this is like, it's totally possible that this is all a cope. 100%. And me saying it's harder than dieting. The thing is that dieting is like pretty tough, but you get into this point with really tough diets where you get like the last half of the diet is like serenity. Like your heart rate is really low. You're in the state of deep calm all the time. Things are like tough, but like lowercase t tough. And you feel quite comfortable when you're not like training super hard, and you're getting like pretty decent sleep because you're not a giant bloated anymore, and you're in this cool rhythm. Your body's changing, you look better all the time. And dieting is tough and it's challenging, but I've done like dozens and dozens of diets, and it's pretty straightforward at this point. Now, diets are tough, but when you've been through surgery recovery of major surgery, you almost certainly, and actually I had a bunch of people comment on this and comment in other places, major surgery is a totally different realm of suck than dieting. Like when you get cut basically in half, your body hates you for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like constant pain, constant itching. You don't feel right at all. Your motivation goes to hell because your body's like, just hide in a hole and recover. I wish I could say this was super easy and easier than dieting. Yo, if this was easier than dieting, I'd get one of these surgeries every other month, man. I'd be like some kind of weird plastic person. That would be awesome. Unfortunately, that's not the reality. So it does sound like a massive cope, but if I had never dieted, it would be a massive cope, but I've dieted into absurdity and placed last in like 18 bodybuilding shows. Clearly, I got nothing to cope with. I'm not afraid of dieting. So that's my honest, rational take. All right. Wayward Fitness, WD Fitness, says, why are you pro cosmetic surgery? This one strikes me as odd, Dr. Mike. Scott, I really can't riff on this person. It's just kind of, I can do better. I can riff. Anything that strikes you as odd in fitness that I do means I'm correct and you're not, because I'm smarter than you. And more important, and have a more purple sweatshirt on. That riff sucked. This is a very polite comment. Let's steel man the shit out of it. It does sound strange that somebody who says you can use diet and exercise and willpower all of a sudden says you don't need any of those, and I'm not going to lead by example, and I'm just going to go under the knife and take the easy way out. Absolutely strange and odd indeed. But to put the logic wrapper on this, I am pro human enhancement in any way that makes sense for you trade-off wise, time sense, money sense, risk sense, that's worth it. And in any way that doesn't hurt the people around you in some strange way. I am 100% for if it makes you better. This goes all the way from learning math to become better at mathematics. That's a form of enhancement. Learning a new language, getting a haircut, getting your nails painted if you happen to be into that sort of thing, putting on makeup, putting on the clothes that you like, eating better and exercising, all the way through cosmetic surgery. And if you think that's weird, you should hear my views on cyber enhancement. Yes, when robotic limbs become better than human limbs, I will be replacing my human body with robot parts. That's an odd take, but I 100% support it. I think it's logical because enhancement means better than. And so if someone wants to diet and train, I think that's amazing. I diet and train all the time. It's been my whole life. I will continue to diet and train. But dieting and training is a part of the equation. It's like, do you worry about the electronic control system in your race car, or do you worry about the size of the engine or the quality of the tires? These are not competitive against each other. They are synergistic. You should be concerned with all of them if you want to race the fastest. And if you want your body to be the best that it can be, should you get a hair transplant if you want a full head of hair and you're balding? Sure, I don't care. I would be bald the rest of my life. It wouldn't bother me. But when people get hair transplants, I'm all like, oh man, you're like, you know what? Why would you do that to yourself? Like, hey, if you think it makes you look better, you like it and it's worth the trade-offs, God bless you. Because I'm 1000% from people being better. in however they see fit, aesthetically, intellectually, psychologically, with enhancement. So if someone is doing cognitive behavioral therapy for their major depressive disorder and they choose to go on drugs, I think that's awesome if the psychiatrist approves. I don't think it's therapy versus drugs. I don't think it ever was. I don't think it's diet and training versus cosmetic surgery, unless you're a Kardashian. Just kidding, the Kardashians, all in good fun. It's both. It's all of the above. And so that, I think, is how it makes sense to me. All right. Ooh, Scott, this is a juicy one. Dakota Bernhardt, 26, a man that has differentiated himself from every other Dakota Bernhardt, of which there are numerous ones, says, imagine being a doctor and having the largest training app and having to get lipo. Okay.
You don't have to imagine it.
Wow, Scott, you took that one from me. You don't have to imagine it, Dakota, because it's real. So I know that the hashtag imagine riff that you're doing on Instagram makes you feel cool and like you have friends, but neither one of those is the case. You're not cool and you don't have friends. And am I salty about this comment? Yes, God damn it, because I have feelings. So imagine being a doctor and getting a cosmetic procedure that's surgical. No contradiction there. Continue. Imagine having the largest training app. So you're for bodily enhancement, and that includes lipo. No contradiction there. Let's talk about where you were correct. I mean, okay, ostensibly being a doctor means I got educated on how to change my body. And so you would think I would know things. Having the largest training app means you'd think my app would help me alter my body. And when both of those fail to get me the body I want because I'm really a fraud doctor and my app really actually sucks, RP hypertrophy app link in the description, by the way. Like having to get lipo seems like an admission of the fact that I'm a fraud. I totally hear that 100%. But like I said in the last critique, the logic is being a doctor and getting a PhD in sport physiology makes me look down at my love handles and go, oh, that didn't work. Executing rigorous diets up to a DEXA confirmed 6% body fat never got rid of my love handles because your skin cells, once you multiply a bunch of them, they don't resorb hardly at all. And so my skin grew a ton when I was drug-free, 270 pounds, and it never really went back down. It just loosened out and just kind of hangs there. And the fat cells, once they multiply, they don't die off. So I got tons of fat cells multiplied in my love handles. Now they're all still there. And so as soon as I gain any amount of off-season weight, it doesn't kind of go all over my body. I still have super ripped quads and veins everywhere, super ripped arms, and then I still have a six-pack, and then I just have these huge love handles. And so unfortunately, or fortunately for what it is, being a doctor of sports physiology actually reconfirmed to me upon much, much more analysis that, actually, I can't do anything about this specific thing. And, the largest training app helps me get jacked, but never have we claimed our training app's going to burn body fat outside of a calorie deficit. So that's kind of a non sequitur in all due respect. And, having to get lipo is just a sensical part of a holistic process to make yourself as good as you can. If you don't need lipo, don't get it. That's stupid. It's insanely invasive. But if you have a problem area that you've had loose skin in and the fat just won't go away, lipo is a thing that really works. And so, Dakota, all love and respect. I appreciate the riff. You can zap me. But at the end of the day, it's real, man. I wish my shit, I'll tell you this. There's no doctorate I could have gotten, and there's no app I could have used instead to have gotten rid of love handles, unfortunately. So that's what I think. Ooh, unless I was a doctor of plastic surgery, Scott, and I did my own procedure. Whoa, can you imagine? Awake?
That would be sick.
I can't reach back there. That's probably the biggest problem. That would be sick. You go on like half of the downers to still be able to, no, that wouldn't work. All right. This one I really like. Scott, last one?
Yeah, sounds good.
That's good. Mark C. Watson. Mr. Mark C. Watson, whose avatar is a cartoon of himself, my man, says, I saw a video of you recently doing pull-ups with your shirt off. Am I allowed to say this, Scott? Has the environment improved yet for this?
No.
Okay, I won't say it.
No.
I was going to use the G word.
I know.
You watching videos of men's with their shirts off, huh? You didn't need this surgery, brother. So, Mark, again, I'm riffing you just for vibes. All love and respect. You didn't sir. Before you hit enter on a comment that you want to be taken seriously, proofread your shit. And then between this surgery and brother, there's no comma. Pedantically, I have to say you probably never graduated the 10th grade because you can't spell or do grammar. But on a serious note, let's steel man this comment. In many poses and in many angles, especially during some time when I'm leaner, it looks like there's no problem at all. 100%. Thank you for the compliment, by the way. This is actually a very kind post, all riffing aside. Yeah, it does not immediately look like the case. Now, here's the other thing. Real talk. I don't post most of my least flattering pictures on Instagram because that's not what you do on social media. You tend to post the content that you think puts you into the best light. Because posting on social media is kind of like walking onto a stage in front of a big crowd. A crowd of, in my case, 1.3 million people or whatever, 1.2 million. And so everyone pretty much puts their best foot forward. And so if I showed you some pictures, and I have in this post hilariously, sorry, not this post. It was a post a day later where I showed all the love handle stuff. I actually did need the surgery because I would love to have agreed with you. It would be amazing if I realized, I don't need the surgery. But my love handle skin situation was pretty intense. And hopefully you guys will get to see pictures of my physique here coming up in a few months. But the transformation is wacky. And I already showed one post-surgery picture, and it was just a completely different waistline. So I'd love to agree with that, but I just don't think it's really the case. All right, folks. What do you think about videos like this? Is this cool or not? I can't tell. Again, the riffing, all jokes, all love and respect. Riffing is super fun when it's funny. When it's serious, it's like weird and kind of like rear guard defensive and very copium and stuff like that. And it's a bad vibe, right? And so if you want to come on my socials and talk that shit, I got all the time in the world for it. Shit talk away. Hopefully the steel manning worked a little bit because every riff has a little bit of a grain of truth, sometimes a lot of truth. And at the end of the day, I guess my take-home message is like, I appreciate the riffs, I appreciate the kind suggestions, but how do I say this in a way that makes the most sense and doesn't make me sound even more like a dick than I already do? When someone whose its career to care about physiques chooses to alter their physique, it is very possible that they're just insanely body dysmorphic and all of that stuff. And they just made a terrible mistake, and you were able to figure out that they made a mistake within 2 seconds of looking at their feed during your scroll. But it is probably much more likely that they've thought about it to a considerably longer duration and deeper depth than you have, and that they're probably on pretty solid ground with their decision. There's no guarantee of that, so I appreciate all the comments, but I guess if you're not interested in clowning yourself, it might be a good idea to rethink how you phrase some comments. Don't just spit them out into the comment sphere because you're going to get clapped back at like you just did. If you're cool with getting clapped back at, my man, woman, I don't know some of the genders there. But at the end of the day, yeah, people who do stuff, whose job to do stuff, usually have thought it through. Maybe I made a mistake, but I probably didn't. Hopefully this video ages well and I don't die of surgical complications. If I did die, I loved each and every single one of you like you were my very children. The RP Hypertrophy app will love you even more if you click on the link in the description. I've been Dr. Mike, and I'll see you guys next time.